Hi, my name is Priscilla Green. I did an article, a journal article on teaching reading to youth with Fragile X syndrome. Should phonemic awareness and phonics instruction be used? The biggest point for me doing this is because I'm a reading interventionist and I use a lot of phonemic awareness and phonics instruction and direct explicit instruction, very strategized and strategic. Everything I do is scaffolded, so it was the perfect article to reach something I basically have yet to hear of. Disability that's called Fragile X. Um, Now, the article about teaching students with Fragile X syndrome, they gave details about an experiment to find, then release information on how to teach students with this learning disability can only be taught with whole word teaching. So basically, at first, people were like, hey, you can only teach students with syndrome X, or they call it Fragile X syndrome, I'm sorry, with teach them a word and then they memorize that word, you tell them over and over, but they are unable to learn in a cognitive manner. Like in the classroom, can't say that, hey, if I teach you A and B and C and these sounds, you aren't going to be able to connect them and put them together. However, the data that was found by the four ladies who actually were doing the research for the teacher in the end actually show that the whole word teaching didn't have any real proof of what it was actually doing and helping any students whatsoever. So they went looking and did more research to find out what they can do to fix that. So now, the author's perspective and opinions. The author spent a lot of time working on making sure that everything they did was fact drawn. Everything that they worked on, every child they worked with got the same instructions. So they used teachers, they used other professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, and they were able to do the same experiment with students, a number of students, think that actually it was 24 to 54 students over and over to see, okay, what kind of results am I going to get? And they believed that the original results were flawed, basically, and truthfully, not even basically, and that they can maybe either validate it or prove it wrong. So that's why they end up doing these certain experiments. Now, my reaction, I loved it. I love the fact that there is there's research. Not that I like to find things that wrong. That's not. But I'm a big proponent of looking for the why and the research behind and why do they say this and why do they say that. And then I'm also in reading interventions, so I'm consistently using strategies and looking for more strategies to reach the ESOL kids, the ESE kids, the kids that haven't been identified with any type of issue. So the reluctant reader, the struggling reader, they're both the same. Those ones that sit down and say, I don't want to, I hate to read, and things like that. There's a reason. And then we give them phonemic awareness, we give them phonics instruction, but we feel like a person or a student that has a learning disability, which is basically the same thing as a reluctant reader, they have something that just hasn't been identified. They don't need the same instruction and the same breakdown, and they do. They really do. And that's the implications to my practice. These ladies got together, they did this research, they found it to be accurate that they got growth in each student. If some of the things went from like 25% to 29% growth, but growth is growth. You're going to work on students with who's still in early literacy in second grade, and they should be reading, or kids who's going at 0.8 in third grade, like I'm doing, or kids are scoring at a 1.4 in fourth grade. These are the students that reading interventionists work with, and these are the same type things that I need I need help with, and I need to see other people doing the exact same thing, getting children with disabilities to work hard and work well. Of course, I believe that everything has a reason and everything has a season, like in Ecclesiastics. Um, However, the Psalm 10:17 was talking more about encouragement. And with encouragement, we are able to, we need everybody to understand that you reach out to people that need the most help. And saying they need help isn't buying
Good
abandoning them.
afternoon, Kathleen.
I picked Psalms 10:17 because it asks, you know, you Lord hear the desire of the afflicted, you encourage them, you listen to their cry. We have to listen to their cry, and their cry is just like the mother in this at the end of this journal article, who they ended up actually the teacher who was doing the research for, and extended her hand out for these four ladies, these professors, to go and look and find information. Is, you know, just because my son or daughter is a student with a learning disability doesn't mean they aren't someone you should reach out for. And those are the things that throughout the this class and throughout teaching, everybody has to understand. Well, like I said, my name is Priscilla Green. I thank you so much for listening to my overview of the article and the review of Fragile X syndrome, and teaching it to children in the classroom with either with using phonemic awareness and phonics instruction, and not just whole word instruction. All right. Thank you so much for listening. You have a great day.